French government gets tough on yellow vest demonstrations. Francis Yellow. Paris police have banned the protesters from a large area in the west of the city, including the famed Champs-Élysées Avenue, scene of last week's rampage by hundreds of anarchists, as well as the Presidential Palace and National Assembly. Similar bans have been announced in the centers of Toulouse, Bordeaux, Dijon, Rennes and the southern city of Nice, where Chinese President Xi Jinping is to meet his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron this weekend. Macron is under pressure to avoid a repeat of last week's sacking of the Champs-Élysées, where over 100 shops were damaged, looted, or set alight during 7 hours of rioting by mainly masked, black-clad protesters. The government has announced plans to redeploy soldiers from its Sentinel anti-terror force Saturday to guard public buildings to free up the police to tackle the radicals. The announcement has drawn howls of protest from the opposition, who have accused the government of playing with fire. On social media, Yellow. In a YouTube post, truck driver Eric Drouet called on protesters not to try to return to the Champs-Élysées. Macron's government drew fierce criticism over its handling of last week's protests. The police appeared to hang back in the face of sustained attacks, after being accused of using excessive force during several previous such protests. The Paris police chief was fired over the violence. Beaten psychologically. On Friday, cleanup operations continued on the Champs-Élysées. Shattered panes were being removed from a Swarovski crystal store, which was ransacked after neglecting to board up its windows. Work was also being carried out on 6 news kiosks that were torched, leaving several newspaper vendors out of work. Sylvain, the leader of a team of repair workers, who did not wish to give his full name, backed the use of the army to help restore order. The protests began in rural France on November 17 over fuel tax increases and quickly ballooned into a full-scale anti-government rebellion that 2 months of public policy debates have failed to defuse. In recent weeks, the protesters' numbers have dwindled, falling from 282,000 nationwide on the first Saturday to just 32,000 last week, according to official estimates. Those still on the streets appear more determined than ever to make their presence felt, however. In a Facebook video this week, Maxime Nicole explained the periodic rioting in Paris and other cities as the result of 40. The violence has cost the protesters, who want higher taxes on the rich and a greater say for ordinary people in the running of the country, public support, according to a poll published Wednesday. Some 53% of respondents said they either supported or felt a degree of sympathy towards the movement, down 8 points in a week.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,